Hey guys! So recently I was able to go on a pioneer trek and I wanted to share my experience with you guys. So, for those of you who don't know what trek is, basically it's something that the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints do in remembrance of all of the saints and early pioneers who are some of us have ancestors of that crossed the plains to reach the Salt Lake Valley. It's kind of like the Oregon Trail when all the people were crossing it, except instead of going to Oregon, of course, they were going to the Salt Lake Valley. The youth are given the opportunity to pull hand carts, and this is to commemorate the hand cart companies that came across. And there are two in particular which we hear lots of stories from just because of all like the challenges they faced, but all of the miracles they met along their way. It's the Martin Willie Handcart Company, and they both left very late in the season and they didn't get the word from Brigham Young that like, hey, wait up guys, don't go yet. But with their faith, they had all decided that they were going to go because they hadn't heard, don't come yet because it's getting late. So they all went and they faced terrible weather. It was snowy and there were just so many tribulations and trials that they like had to get through. It's just very inspiring, and the trek is for them and for all the other pioneers and for modern day pioneers too. It doesn't have to be ones that cross the plains. It's people who moved from different countries or just did different things to like blaze their own trail to make their life, and it's just to commemorate to them. So for trek, we kind of want to go back in time a little bit, and we trying to experience it the way that the pioneers who crossed the plains did. So we dress up like them. So the girls wear bonnets and skirts or dresses and aprons, which honestly, the aprons were really useful. You could put a lot of stuff in there and just carry it around with you, which is really nice. And then the boys would wear hats, long shirts, and long pants. And we would go together and we'd wear this all 3 days that we were out there. And while we were out there, we were separated into families and we didn't get to pick them. So people were mixed up. You weren't with the usual friend groups or anything, but this is because, first of all, they wanted us to get to know other people, which is amazing. I love all of my Trek families. So if you're watching this, hi, I love you. But also they did this because the pioneers traveled in families and companies, and this is to represent that. We had two different companies. We had 1 through 4 were a company, and then 4 through 8. So we had 8 wagons altogether, and we split into 2 companies. Trek has to be one of the hardest things I've ever done, but one of the most rewarding. We only went like maybe 18 miles, 20 miles at most, but the pioneers went like roughly 1,000 miles. So the hardships I had, I was like, my feet hurt, I'm so tired, I want to go back to my bed. But they traveled for months. It wasn't just like, oh, let's hop in the car and go. No, this is the only way they could get over there. And so many of them sold their homes in England or different places like in Europe to come here so they could gather together because of the faith that they had. They wanted to be gathered together with the rest of the saints and the rest of their congregation. And really that first day was just hard for me because I didn't know anyone in my family. Yes, I got to know people, which was great, but it was just like hard. We went 11 miles the first day. We pulled and we pulled and we pulled. But sitting down and having like our dinner, we had like a little biscuit. And it was like so good. I never tasted anything that tasted better than that. And so what we had for dinner that night, it was like a biscuit mix. It was supposed to be flour, but they weren't going to give us just straight flour, which I'm very thankful for. But that's what the pioneers had. They just took straight flour with them because they assumed that they'd be able to find stuff along the trails. And they were, but it was scarcer than they thought it was going to be. And when they reached their halfway point, they had gone through 70% of their flour. So like this is all the food they brought. They're only halfway and they've gone through 70% of it. So originally it had been like a pound of flour for like each person for a day. So like breakfast, lunch, dinner, or something like that. but then it went down to like 4 ounces. For a full grown adult, 4 ounces a day. That is crazy. The biscuit we had was very small. Yes, it was good, but if that was all I had to get through for such a long journey, like I said, 1,000 miles, I don't think that'd be one of the hardest things ever to try and get through that. And maybe that's why there are so many stories in the history that show the people finding food. I never really realized how important that was, or how, like, these stories, I've heard them. There was one story that there was a mother and she couldn't keep going. She just lost her child and she was crying and distraught, and so she sat down and her daughter knelt and she prayed and she said, "Lord, please help me. I don't want to leave my mother here. We can't just leave her here. We have to keep going with the company. Please help me to get her motivated." And the daughter found a pie in the middle of the desert, and they ate it and they were filled, and then they were able to go on and keep going, and it gave them hope. Or there's stories of a mother who prayed. She had 2 little sea biscuits left from the voyage, and she'd been watching her children take rawhide off of the wagon wheels and chewing on it to try to eat something, and she prayed to Heavenly Father saying, please, if you can turn the fish and the loaves and make there enough for 5,000 people, please make this 2 little sea biscuits enough for my family. And she was inspired to put it in like a little oven and put some water in it, and when she opened it up again, there was food. And experiences like this are what was able to help the saints keep going through all their struggles. Even though it was hard, they knew the Lord was there watching over them. So these are the stories that we got to know, like kind of the first day, or just I've known from before. There's so many good resources for it. If you go to like 17 Miracles, it's a great movie. It shows these in better detail than I could. But back to the trek. Our second day, we had a birthday in my family. I'll call her S, because I didn't get permission to say their names. But so S had her 16th birthday. So we had like a little banner that our mom, pa, which were the leaders there to be kind of like our parents and to help us through it, kind of like a family, like I was telling you guys. They put up the little banner, and then later that day we actually had a cake. So here I am trying to recreate a cake that I saw for like 2 seconds, because we all ate it because it's cake and it's delicious, and why wouldn't you just eat it immediately instead of studying it out so you can draw it into your YouTube videos? Because everyone would do that. So anyways, I just found some pictures on the internet to try to remake what I had remembered the cake looking like, and they had lots of sprinkles. I remember that. So you guys can see lots of sprinkles. So it's her birthday. So if you're watching, once again, happy birthday. But so that was really fun to just be able to celebrate with her. And also I feel like that says a lot about her character, because I mean, I would not be one to spend my 16th birthday like out in the woods without my family, sleeping on the ground. That's not how I ever imagined my sweet 16 going, and hopefully you were able to have a big party after that. But that just really inspired me. I was like, oh, wow, you are an amazing human being for coming on this and doing it on your birthday. And so, like, you can see, Trek has like the very spiritual moments, and it also has the really fun moments where you're just hanging out with your family. And one of those really fun moments is being drawn out right here. So we had a boy in our family, we'll call him H, who decided it would be a good idea to eat a hamburger. Okay, that's what we're having for lunch. But then he decided to add a little flair to it, you know? So he took a piece of S's cake and just put it in his hamburger. And he just ate the hamburger like that. Cake and hamburger. So now we have a cake burger, which is what you're seeing me draw right here. So we had lots of fun moments. The boys were always like goofing off and stuff, but honestly, the jokes and the laugh really made the time on the trail go faster. We were all just like hanging out and having fun. But of course, it wasn't all just pulling and pulling, even though, as we have a song that goes, Pioneer Children sang as they walked. and walked and walked and walked. And yes, we did lots of walking, but we also had a lot of fun. The second day was like a game day. So we did lots of different like group family games. So this is one you might know. It's one where you like have a sponge and you pass it over your head and you try to fill the bucket, and we win a bucket. It's a different family. We won, obviously, because we're just the best. No, we had a good strategy. If you ever play this game, what you gotta do is you gotta hold it level and try not to squeeze it too much, because then you'll win, like us. So we had these games to bond together as a family and get to know the people that we were like hanging out with and pulling a wagon with more. But we also went and we had like a solo time, which we kind of did different games. They had like archery. I sawed a tree. That was cool. I threw hatchets. I missed every single time. One of them hit the target the wrong way, but I hit it. So there was that. And then we also made like these old-fashioned type of yo-yos. And here is me attempting to play with that, like right in just like 2 seconds. But when I was doing this earlier, like on the buses ride home and stuff, it like wasn't working, but it's working now. I don't know how. Maybe having a camera there is magical. Maybe I should just film everything, and then everything will magically go the right way. The stamps were kind of faded on it, so I really wanted to make it better so I could see it, and so it wouldn't wear away as fast. So the last little thing I decided to decorate for you guys was this little comb. We got it from a service activity that was washing each other's hair. So I washed a delightful little girl's hair. You know who I'm talking about. And she washed mine. It was really nice to just be clean after walking and having so much dust getting in my hair and all that stuff. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment down below what your favorite project I did was. I think mine is the comb. Don't forget to like and share with your friends. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!